Hello and welcome back to the Fortnightly Q&A. My name's Lumin and right now, it's not the first time I start recording this because I messed up with the mic before. It was on the webcam mic, now it's on the proper mic. That would have been terrible. I only got about halfway through the first question though, so it's okay. The rest of these are going to be 100% a surprise, unless I scroll down now and see them. I'm not going to cheat, okay? I didn't review the questions or anything like that. So come what may, we will go through them together. Now, the first one's from Lucery Prime. If you could transform, I did actually read this question, and I see that I got something wrong here. If you could transform at will into any animal, or plant, or fungus, or insect, what would it be, and why? I didn't read the at will part before. Big difference between at will and at random. Either way, though, I wouldn't want to transform into a fungus, or a plant, or an insect. Animals, yes, yes. So if I had to choose something, I'd say an animal that can fly, a bird of sorts, a big one. Maybe a predatory bird. Okay, like an eagle, the majestic eagle, an owl. A pterodactyl. That's not a predatory bird. I know. Okay, something like that rather. Don't want to be no victim in the sky like a pigeon. No. The majestic eagle. Even respected by humans. That would be great. The reason, well, it's obvious. To fly. That would be great. What an amazing form of transportation that would be. Moving on. Thor 2000. Would you consider doing an Oblivion playthrough? No, probably not. Okay, I would much sooner consider something with Fallout, but Oblivion, I played through that myself back when it came out, all the way through it. I remember how bad that part was. We had to go into all the Oblivion gates. That just wasn't for me. I did it anyway though. Finished the game. Don't think I'm going to play it again. I realize you're probably asking because you want more of Skyrim or something like Skyrim. I will have to see what else comes up. Maybe another game will come out at some point soon that I will play. I've actually got a Tales of Lumin video that's going to go up. Well, I don't have it yet. I'm going to record it at some point soon. And it's going to go up. And in that, I'm going to talk about what other playthrough I'm going to do on the channel. If any. Just going to get some input from you guys. But you're going to have to wait for that. Okay? Just wait. Resist the urge of posting about that on this video. Next question. Ropname. Hi Lumin, I'm glad you're doing well. You, not so long ago, passed 30k subs, and I was wondering, from when you were on 20k subs, what's the difference in income and views? How much of an impact did this raise have? How many subs would you need to have a satisfying income from YouTube? Now there's another part here, but it's a different question, so we're going to go with this first part first. From 20k to 30k, not that big a difference. Not in terms of income / views. Not that much. At least not on like most of the videos. My Hearthstone videos have definitely gone up a little bit in views. They're more consistently getting over 2,000 or 3,000 views. Because I guess most of the new subscribers are interested in Hearthstone. And that's great. But I think that the amount of income and views I get on like say a monthly basis, because that's how YouTube for the most part measures it. I get paid month to month. That is much more dependent on the type of content I do. The 1 minute guides that I released, they helped a lot. Okay, I saw a big drop when I stopped doing them, when Naxxramas came out. Still kind of on the down low now, but I'm starting on them again next week. I considered the Naxxramas thing, Naxxramas' release, you know, the 5 weeks that it took for it to come out, a bit of a holiday, just in terms of the content I was doing, because I got to record Hearthstone, which is, at the moment, one of my favorite games to play all the time. I recorded a lot of it, got to do the normal runs, the heroic versions of the bosses, the class challenges, and the card pack opening videos. All that stuff was just so great. So much fun to do. Seriously, so I was happy to not do the 1 minute guides for a little while and just focus on that, because the heroic modes are difficult. They take up a lot of time. They take a lot out of me to sit here for an hour plus working on the same boss, straining my brain to get it right. But I saw a big drop when I stopped doing the 1 minute guides. They're still getting views. They're definitely still getting views right now, the other ones that I did. But when I start doing them again, I think that I will see a little climb in the amount of views and income I get again. But, as I said, very much dependent on the types of videos I do and whether or not they get picked up by sites or Reddit. You know? If you get lucky on Reddit. If you are like Hearth Trollden and every single video you ever make just gets posted there and fanboyed over. Yes, you can taste the salt. That guy, he gets so many views. Every single video gets posted there. It gets posted by the Hearthstone Facebook page and Twitter. They love his stuff. And for good reason. He does well. He's good at what he does. But it's so popular that that alone is enough for him. Now, I would have to get my 1 minute guides a lot more popular for me to be able to support myself with them. Now, at the moment, I guess I would say that I'd need like 100k subs to be able to give me a satisfying income from YouTube. And I'd probably need more than that to be able to support us, our family, overseas. So, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do yet. I realized that... Tick, tick, tick. He's walking around here. He's not happy. I realized that I'm still a long way off something like 100,000. I am. But maybe, just maybe, when I start doing 1 minute guides next week and I make it a weekly thing, because there was a big thing about the Hearthstone Facebook page not wanting to include my videos in it because they were not consistent enough. So in their weekly roundups, they didn't put my videos because I didn't have it out at the same time every week. So I'm going to schedule it. It's going to be at the exact same time every week on the same day. I'm not sure which day yet. I have to decide. But maybe when I do that, then I will see a big improvement. I don't know. But as it stands, and I think there might be a question about this later on. Might not be about the exact same thing. But as it stands, I would need to make a plan for us to survive overseas. Be it getting another job there, doing something else, part-time for money, we'll see. It's something we'll get to when we get to, or at least we'll discuss in the future. It's not something I'm going to talk about right now, but it is something we're thinking about. Then, the next part was... regarding this week's eyes question, what do you think about Gunnar glasses for PC users? Not much. Mainly because I've not tried them myself. I do think that there could be some use to them. I think that scientifically they probably do work. Like, there must be something to having this between you, your eyes, and your screen. There must be something to it. I don't know. Not tried them yet. Can't really give you proper input or anything, but I would like to try them at some point. I'm not going to pay for them though. That's not going to happen. Next, Celtic Uchu. Konnichiwa, Lumin. I promised a simpler, at least in terms of amount of text question in this week's Q&A, so here goes. Women in relationships, mother, wife, girlfriend, can give you a look of disapproval when you do something that they rather you wouldn't. It could be a bad habit, or you forgetting your manners, example after eating a lot of beans or drinking lots of pop. As you and Elena have been together for a while now, do you do anything that causes her to give you the look? Were there any bad habits you had before meeting her that have since been trained out of you? That's an interesting part. That last part there, I don't know. You know, it's been so long. When you were growing up, did you do anything that caused your mother to give you the look? Not really, honestly. So that last part I'll answer first, just to say that I don't think I did anything that my mother didn't want me to do. Oh, stayed up too late. That was the thing, you know. I always stayed up too late. Sometimes till the sun came up, and then she was waking up the next morning, and I was still awake in front of my PC, playing Warcraft 3 on the ladder or whatever, or Quake 3, or or whatever else I played back then. That was how I got the look from her. As far as Helene goes, I actually mentioned this question to her, and we just together couldn't think of very much, but what we did think of was, she said she gives me the look when I put too much butter or margarine, we actually have butter now, on a bread or toast. And then I put way too much peanut butter and like honey or jam along with that. She hates it when I do that. Because I like stack it on real thick. Okay? It's much nicer like that. I prefer it like that. Makes the coffee afterwards taste much better too. I get the look for that. In terms of the more rude things, not really. You know? Not really. But that's the one thing that came to mind for both of us. Hope that's okay for you. It's stuff like that. Stuff like that. For the most part. Or me like leaving dishes places or making things dirty places. Anyway. Hinchley. What was your childhood like? Did you go through any awkward stages? Did you have any funny or crazy stories? What was your schooling like and so forth? Man, I have such a terrible memory that any funny or crazy stories that I had to tell are now gone. I don't know. The rest of this says, I love all your videos and I think it's great that you're making a living of doing something you love. Warm sands. Warm sands to you too, Hinchley. Thank you for the amazing question. My childhood was good. It was very good for the most part. Most of the time we were living on farms. We got to run around in the fields, climb trees, build tree houses, make hideouts places on farms. By childhood I mean like, let's say pre-teen. Most of that was spent, well, pretty much all of that was spent on farms. We always were in the outdoors doing things, getting lost in forests. That's one thing I can say, is we got lost in a forest once. And I remember some people started crying, okay, because they thought we'd never get home. I remember that. It was me, my sister, and then two of our friends, like childhood friends, who we're still friends with now, still know them. And then we went out. You know, we were on a we lived on a farm. The farm was against a mountain. There was a big pine forest as well. We went up and up and up into the mountainous area, and then we went into this pine forest, and then eventually we kind of lost track of where we were. We weren't that far away, you know, in the grand scheme of things. Now today, if I go there, I could probably like immediately just know where I was, but we were young. We were young back then, and it's also sad because we saw that farm recently and the pine forest is gone. There are vineyards there now. The farm just looks terrible. Anyway, that's something different. But we lost our way there, and then these three girls, because it was three girls, my sister and two other friends, they were freaking. We got home though. We got home in like, I think about 10 minutes after that we figured out where we were. Like literally 10 minutes after that we figured out where we were. And we went home and everyone felt like fools. But it happened. It was good. But, you know, childhood was good. I was homeschooled after standard 5, so after grade 7 I was homeschooled. I thought that my schooling was also just very normal. Nothing special there. I spent a lot of time LANing when I figured that out. I think we got our first computer when we were on one of the farms. It was either a 386 or a 486, and the first games we ever got on there, it was this one CD. It had Savage Empire, Wing Commander, Ultima 7, Ultima Underworld 1 and 2, or 1, might not have been 2. Some of the best games I've ever played. I mean, that's such a good selection, isn't it? Transport Tycoon was on there, if I'm not mistaken. Or was that no, that was in a different pack. We also had another CD with Transport Tycoon and a SimCity game on. It was so good. So good. When I started on that, you know, then things went downhill. Then I spent a lot more time indoors. But obviously we were told to go outside and play, and we did. So, there you go. That's what happened. Okay. Then, Shulumu. Hey Lumin, I was wondering, do you miss Willow? I know I do. So, there's a funny story behind this. We did Siege of Orgrimmar. I think it might have been Flex. I don't think it was normal. Might have been Flex. We were on Galacras. Shulu here was with us in the group. She's got a shaman. Lovely, lovely shaman that heals and damages so much. Then, we were obviously on Galacras trying to set the tower teams up. Okay, then there was this Death Knight. This guy called Willow. It's always the Death Knights. It's always the Death Knights. He was just so keen to go in the tower. So keen. Full caps. I want to go tower. We couldn't tell him no. We couldn't. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something funny. Okay. Sort of like the other tank I told you guys about the other day, who must have passed out from the hype. Willow was kind of the same. About going in that team up the tower. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, Galacras is a boss in Siege of Orgrimmar, the raid, and you need half your raid basically to stay down and fight the mobs on the ground. Then you need to send a team up into the tower to deal with whatever's going on up there. So we sent Willow up the tower, and then the second he got to the top, he got knocked off the tower and he died. Like literally the first time he went up the tower, after being so keen for it, he ran up there with gusto, with much might, and he got knocked off and he died. It was so sad. And from that point on, it was just Tower Team Willow all the way. He redeemed himself, and like after a couple of bosses, he was just in love with us, our little group of people. He was like, oh, you guys, you must tell me when you go again. I want to come with you. He was a great guy. He was a kind soul. I liked Willow, and I do miss him. I do miss Willow. He was just a funny dude. You meet all sorts while playing World of Warcraft, and that's what makes it such a great experience. We started using TeamSpeak for the guild recently as well. I got to actually interact with like a good bunch of people from the guild, and that was fun too. Same kind of thing. Same kind of thing that makes World of Warcraft fun. Now, Bloodgorm. Would you consider making a Patreon account? I'd love to support the channel. Help support the channel. I don't know. Okay, I don't know about Patreon. I don't know much about the actual site and how it works, but I would feel bad taking money like that. You know, if people want to donate, they can donate. I think my PayPal is still linked on my channel. You can do it. It's okay, but I don't want to go and make an account on a site where you ask for it. I would rather make money by making content that I think is good and you think is good and you watch and you enjoy. That's how I would prefer to do it. So I don't think I would do that. Unless, you know, it becomes mandatory at some point. We'll see. Okay, we'll see. I don't know yet. You guys can tell me what you think about that. Fluffy Fish 094. Are you planning on jumping back into Planet Side 2? If so, a TOL outfit would be really cool, and it would be awesome to play with you for some squad runs. Keep up the good work. Love your stuff. Thank you. I don't know, is Planet Side 2 still a thing? You know, is it still like... I've got an itchy nose. Is it still going? Is there still a decent populace of players? I don't know. I don't know if I'll jump back into Planet Side, you know? I would prefer to try something like Destiny out. Yes, please. Destiny. That game looks amazing. Peter Dinklage talking to you. Wow. Seriously though, I would rather play Destiny if it ever came to PC, or if I ever got a way to record on console. I'd rather do that. 8TOA. Hey Lumin. 8TOA. Maybe. Hey Lumin, which do you prefer? Long hair or short? You get it cut quite short, to say the least. This is usually how I get it cut. This was Helene, by the way. She did an amazing job. Okay, really, really good. I didn't do anything with it. This is how I woke up this morning. This, right here. This. Didn't do anything with it. And it's not like it's, you know, there's no gel in here. This is it. This is what it looks like. I prefer short hair. I'm just trying to see if the rest of the question has anything else about the hair. Also, what are you going to miss the most from SA apart from the family? Loving the videos, by the way. They always make my day that much brighter. Thank you once again. So, I prefer short hair for the most part. Long hair is a pain. It is. But then again, getting your hair cut is a pain too. I don't want to go to the hairdresser and pay for it. Eileen doesn't always want to do it. Whatever. I prefer short hair. What am I going to miss most about SA? About South Africa, I'm going to miss the fact that if I go away, that the food is so cheap here. Just anything you could ever want. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Cost of living is just really cheap. Really cheap. I guess if you know what you're doing, if you don't go and buy the expensive stuff, but that's one thing I'll miss. I will miss the walks that I go on every single day with Nero, because I don't think that most countries in the world could have as nice walks as the ones we have, just because we walk firstly down like the neighborhood here, and I get to take Nero off the leash because it's such a nice neighborhood. He knows it, we know it. The traffic is so minimal that I can control. He's actually really good with that nowadays. You know, he listens. He gets to walk off the leash here, and safely. I'll say that again. And we go to, when we walk all the way down to the bottom, we go on the cliff path, which is really nice as well. And I'll miss that. I'll miss the beach. Not for myself, but for Nero. And, as you say, the family. The weather is also kind of nice here. You know, it doesn't always get too hot or too cold or anything like that. I think it's going to be a little more difficult overseas, but we'll see. Then, Isaacus. Isaacus? What breed is Nero puppy? Nero is an Africanus. It's like Africa, but at the end Canis. C-A-N-I-S. That's what he is. That's the breed. He's like a crossbreed though, okay? He's got some Alsatian in him as well. Funny guy. Then, Swescent. Lumin, do you like... I see what you've done here. Lumin, you like to play games where you're alone, where you're afraid and alone. Games that send chills right down to your bone. Games where you're hunted by terror itself. Games you don't dare to take down from the shelf. Games where you could die around every corner. Games where you'll make best friends with the coroner. Games where your mind will divorce from your sanity as you try to escape the jaws of inhumanity. A game you should take under consideration, titled by the words Alien Isolation. Without any more rhyming delay, is this a game you think you'll play? And if you want to score high with the nerds, go ahead and answer with rhymes to your words. All the best, always, Swescent. Can I? Alien Isolation seems like a bit of a mish. But perhaps, just perhaps, you'll get your wish. I might try the game at some point. But I'm just not sure. What rhymes with point? That's... wow. That's about it. Oh my goodness. I think I can do better. Alien Isolation. Let me just talk about that for a second. Just take your mind off it. That's the remake of one of the older Alien games, or is that the one that's based on the movies? Because one of them has Sigourney Weaver doing like a DLC character for it. Is that the one? If so, I think I've seen a bit of gameplay from it and it looked okay. I'm just not sure yet if I want to play it, because I'm sure we all remember Aliens Colonial Marines and what happened with that. So we're going to have to wait and see what it seems like when it launches. And then I'll decide if I want to jump in, take a chance. But again, I'm going to be releasing another video at some point in the not too distant future, talking about what I'm going to be playing on the channel next. Getting you guys to vote. Because there are a few things I need to take into consideration. I'll get to that when I get to that. Just wait. EC Ventor. Hi Lumin, it's been a very long time since I asked a question. I like your Legend of Grimlock playthrough very much. It's one of your best on your channel. So I was wondering if you plan on making one for Grimlock 2, which is supposed to be out later this year. I don't know, I'm very keen for Grimlock 2, and I think that that could be a fun game to play. Just not sure how I would do it yet, or if I do it yet, but it is one that I'm strongly considering. Okay? Definitely. Definitely considering it. Next question is from the TF Starscream. Hello Lumin Sensei, is it wrong to play on a private WoW server? Because I don't want to pay every month. The sad part is every new expansion on private servers has tons of bugs. So, because of that, I still play Wrath of the Lich King. Well, I don't know how wrong it is, honestly. I don't think Blizzard even really care much about the private servers anymore, just because of what you say in here. They can't keep up. If you enjoy World of Warcraft, and you have some way of paying for the subscription, I do think it's worth it. But if you don't want to pay the subscription every month, then there are tons of free-to-play games that you could consider. Definitely not wrong playing a private server as far as I can tell, though. You know, whatever. But if you spend a lot of time on it, if you're enjoying it a lot, then maybe consider, at least for the future, thinking of subbing to WoW. Again, I understand not wanting to pay every month, because it does add up. But I always just consider how many hours of enjoyment I get out of World of Warcraft, at the moment at least, and I think to myself, well, yes, it's worth the money I pay for it every month. So there you go. And yes, I pay for World of Warcraft every month, I don't get that free. Diarmaid. Hey Lumin, do you like any sports? If so, what sports? I don't like a lot of sports, no. I like Formula 1, if that's even considered a sport. I like watching that. And that's it. Done. I've said this before, things like the Olympics. That's always fun to watch. Weightlifting. It's also kind of fun. The gymnastics and those things. That's cool. That's cool. That's really cool. I like watching that. But not like regular rugby, soccer, cricket, baseball, basketball. None of that. None of that stuff. SS9. Do you really like all Pokemon? I thought the design quality went downhill after the first generation and plummeted after the second. I affirm that the Oh, that's this is different now. Pokemon, yes, I love the Pokemon games. To me it seems like the new ones are a lot more fun than the old ones. I liked the old ones a lot. I remember playing them a long time ago. But the new ones look good. Some of the new stuff they've got implemented in there. The way you can play with other people is great and trade with other people and that stuff. I do think that the technology has improved enough to make it worth playing the new ones. It also looks much nicer, you know? I saw that they even released a official Pokemon trading card game for iPads or something. That's interesting. But I really like all Pokemon. Yes. Then, I affirm that Leviathan and Citadel are great DLCs for the Mass Effect fan. Although I'd love for you to play them, unfortunately, I don't think that you will anytime soon. You should play them before the next Mass Effect game comes out, when the hype and interest is building. As you say. It's clever. It's clever. It's like a refresher course. But then again, I don't know if the new Mass Effect game is going to have much to do with the older ones. Or even the Citadel or Leviathan DLC. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see if there's a link. Because they haven't said much about the new ones. Maybe they have and I missed it. Maybe. But there you go. That was the last question. If you have any questions for me, please don't hesitate to leave them below. They could be about anything. Games, gaming, life, Nero, food, and all the rest. Give this one a like, share it, and do all that other good stuff. Most importantly though, happy all these questions. Happy leaving new ones for next week. Happy that